everybody, it's Brooke with The Buttered Home. Welcome to Messy Kitchen Monday on a Tuesday. Let me just fix my camera. All right, I think we're good. Tonight I have a very special guest. Much to his chagrin, the hub's Big D is here making his famous banana pudding. I said it, banana pudding. And I know you're thinking, how in the world are we going to make banana pudding on Messy Kitchen Monday? Well, we have done a few things in preparation to kind of speed the process up. So what we're showing you tonight is the in a pinch version of banana pudding. Normally, Danny recommends that you use a double boiler to do it. And it can be a long process because you want to stay with the custard and you want to stir the custard the whole time. But if you're in a pinch and can afford to stay with your custard and stir it constantly, you can do it in a regular boiler on the stove, which is what we're going to do tonight. So you're going to actually get to see the custard process from start to finish. Now, I'm going to show you really quickly what I have done in preparation for this. So, of course, you know how I roll. We make half the recipe, and we've already got half of it already done so that we can give you the nice presentation at the end. But we are prepping, let me move my camera. We are prepping for our banana pudding, and what we've done is we have lined the bottom of a pan with vanilla wafers. Yes, the name brand, vanilla wafers. Danny is a big brand man, and this, you know, he says is a must. And this is his recipe, so we're going to do whatever he says. And we've lined the bottom, and the reason why we've only done the bottom as of right now is so that it makes it easier to do the vanilla wafers around the sides for your upper crust. So we're just going to load the bottom up as well with sliced bananas. And it doesn't have to be uniform or pretty. You just want to make sure you get in there and cover it all really well so that you have bananas in every bite. And then we simply just take this and just stand up the vanilla wafers on the sides to make the crust. I have a friend who loves banana pudding without the crust. I've never heard of that before, but I can imagine the custard alone and just the meringue would actually be fabulous. But Danny is hard at work behind me, and never fear, we're going to travel over there in just a second. We're just letting him get everything up to temperature so that it can actually start to come to a boil over there. Because once the boil starts, when you're doing it like we're doing it tonight, the custard process happens pretty fast. It's real important to note, though, that if you're doing the quick boil method for the custard, that you do it at low to medium heat. You don't want to do it too fast because you don't want your eggs to scramble. All right, so now we've got our uniform prepped base with our bananas and our crust. So I'm going to move the camera. Y'all just bear with me. And then we are going to come over here. I'm actually going to turn it around if I can figure out how to do that, so that you can see what he's doing. All right, sorry about the shaky. All right, now in the boiler, he already has milk, egg yolks, milk, egg yolks, and vanilla.
Right.
Okay, and then what he just added was the flour, the sugar, and what else?
Salt.
Sorry. So now he is going to stand and stay with it and probably up his heat just a little bit. There we go. Sorry, it took us a minute to get that focused. And if you're just joining us, we are making homemade custard banana pudding. This is Big D's recipe. I don't even fool with it. What I'm doing tonight is more than I normally do. So, he's got it going. He just upped his heat a little bit. And now, we're not using the double boiler method because the double boiler method takes a while. But it is the best way to do it if you don't want to just kind of stand here and get carpal tunnel syndrome in your wrist from whisking the whole time. If you have the time, the double boiler method, as Danny says, it creates a smooth, shiny, beautiful custard, which comes out perfect every time. So, you know, if it's worth doing anything, you take your time, you do it to perfection. So the double boiler method is what we prefer, but if you're in a pinch, or if you just want to make the commitment to stand here and whisk for just a little bit of time, you can do this quick boil method for the custard because the eggs will make it thicken up pretty quick. Like I can hear right now that as his liquid is starting to kind of thicken, but it's gonna take just a minute more, and everything worth doing and worth doing well takes time. But what will happen is once the liquid here starts to boil, the thickening process will happen really fast, and that's because the egg yolks. Now the great thing about this recipe is that you don't waste anything. For every egg yolk that you use here, you actually use the white for the meringue. And I know, you know, meringue is like a lot of things. Some people either love it or they hate it. You can certainly use whipped cream, but the presentation of the meringue after you brown the top, there's just nothing like it. And then the meringue is not that sweet. So the custard and the bananas and the wafers are all sweet enough, so the meringue gives you just enough of not sweet to kind of break it up a little bit. And we're going to show you how easy meringue is to make too. But the idea here is, like so many things that we do at the Buttered Home, is that the scratch-made, homemade way is really not that hard, you know, and that's one of the things that we hope to show everybody, that, you know, doing stuff the old-fashioned way is really better. And, you know, you could use like Jell-O, but it's really not any easier. I mean, in my opinion, you still have to bring your milk to a boil to get the Jell-O to set. So this is just a little extra effort, and that's just a flip of the wrist, really and truly. So I think that it's better this way, and it's really just as easy. So we can tell that it is starting to froth and come to a boil. We need to up the heat just a little bit. Okay. And I promise, this is just like making a gravy or a roux. When you add your liquid, you stand here and you stir it and you think it's never going to happen, but then all of a sudden, boom, it happens. And then you got to get it off the heat. And that's one thing too, you know, you need to be ready just as soon as it comes to that process where it is thick and as thick as you want it. And you'll know what I'm talking about because you'll be able to feel it. It'll kind of go against the whisk, and it'll be, like you can tell now, it's starting to really get thick, isn't it? I'm starting to see it bubble around the edges. And once that bubbling process starts to happen, then it's going to get thick fast. And it's worth it. So, you know, like we mentioned before, when you're making banana pudding, the best way to do it is over a double boiler. But if you're in a pinch, you can do this, but just know that you're committed to it. You cannot leave it. You cannot stop whisking it. Because what did you say? It'll stick to the bottom, and it'll be just like gum.
Yeah, I said you'd have crayons at the bottom.
Crayons, yeah. I couldn't remember. I thought it was gum. And he said, you know, if you let it go too fast, then you'll have banana flavored or custard flavored crayons stuck to the bottom of your pan. bubble and get thick. And if you've noticed, if you've watched, it's almost doubled in size. But now it's not going to stay that way. It's not going to stay all frothy and everything. It's gonna settle into a really, really nice custard. All right, and he just turned his heat off. So the man says that it's as thick as he wants it. And he's gonna stir it to release that heat. And then move it off of the heat. Whoa! And now hold on, Danielle, let me get over here. Okay, now he's going to pour it over. And y'all look at it. It's thick and it's beautiful. And now as it cools, it's going to thicken some more. So the great thing about this is that you can let it sit at room temperature and cool, and it will still set up all nice and good. And we're going to make the meringue while it's kind of cooling off. Let me just set this up here. Alright, gonna let you get that. You want to... Okay, he got it all out. Alright, so you can see it's pretty hot. But look how pretty it is. Isn't that nice? Nice, pretty meringue. Not meringue. Custard. Let me just move that back. And you can make any adjustments now if you need to. Now, I'm going to move you over here. And I'm going to show you how easy it is to make the meringue. So you ideally want to let your custard cool off to at least room temperature before you put the meringue on, because you don't want to deflate your meringue. So here I have the egg whites. Let me change this. I have the egg whites that came off of the egg yolks that we used for the custard. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to beat them until they just start to get frothy. So it may get a little loud. Just stay with me. I'll try to talk over it. Well, the bananas, they're pretty resilient, actually. They hold up well, and your custard, while it's hot, it's not gonna burn the bananas per se. Hold on, I'll get back to that in just a second. I just want you to notice how frothy we are at this point, and we're gonna just slowly add in our sugar. We're going to get our sugar mixed in really well. But Stephanie, whenever we took that custard off of the heat, him still continuing to stir it allowed some of the heat to kind of come off of the custard. And the bananas, if you use bananas that are ripe but not too ripe, what happens is when the custard hits it, it just softens them and doesn't burn them all the way through. Bananas, they're pretty resilient. Alright, so we're starting to puff up, but just to help it along, I'm just going to add in a little cream of tartar and get that mixed in. And then our vanilla. And the vanilla just gives it a little rich flavor. And I just want to show you really quickly, that is a soft peak. Did you see how whenever can you see it, Tanner? Whenever you pull this out, it has a peak, but the peak kind of just flops over. That is a soft peak. So you want stiff peaks. So we're going to bring that up just a little bit more. Check it again. All right, they still popped over just a little bit. maybe, are you cooking your custard too long? Maybe your custard is too hot. What you might want to do, Stephanie, next time you do it, remove it from the heat and then stir it to release a little more heat before you pour it on the bananas, and just see if that helps. All right, I've got a stiff peak. I just brought that up and they stayed upright. So now what you're gonna do is, once your custard is cool enough, you're gonna spoon this on and you're going to kind of just carefully spread it out. Then you're gonna put it under about a low to medium broiler and just watch it and let it get as brown as you kind of want it. And I'm gonna move the camera now. Just bear with me. Okay. And then we're gonna move this out of the way because it's got to set up a little bit more. Put that on here. And then I'm gonna move the camera again and show you the finished product. Isn't it pretty? It's so pretty. All right, Danny, since you did this and you were sweet enough to do this on live Facebook, I'm gonna let you scoop some out so everybody can see what it looks like whenever we put it on a plate. And then you can eat it. Tanner won't get to eat it. No, we're not gonna show you eating it on TV. But this was probably maybe a minute under the broiler, but this is as brown as we like it. And it looks, I mean, just, it's beautiful. And I just use a little offset spatula and just kind of, I dollop the dollops on there and then just kind of spread them out. And then take the offset spatula and just take it and just touch it to the top of the meringue. And you can even put a little wrist flare in there and whoop it up just to get these little peaks and valleys. So we're gonna dip some out. Well, I kind of wanted a plate, but a bowl, I guess, will do okay. So you could see the texture of it. All right, well, our custard, if you'll notice, our custard is nice and thick, and then our bananas are good, and they've yellowed just a little bit. It's too late, I'm good. And they've yellowed just a little bit, but they're not too brown. And then our meringue, it created just a pretty little top. And I apologize, I just kind of flipped everything over so you can't see the texture. But never fear, this will be on the blog tonight, actually. Full recipe, everything you need to know to make it, and some really pretty pictures, I might add. So let me hand this off, even though I think he wants this instead of the bowl. But anyhow, that's banana pudding. Y'all, in like 18 minutes, he made the custard. And that was start to finish. So it's doable. And you know, the thing about it is that everybody wants to do stuff and give it a shortcut. Well, I hope by now, since August, you know, you can see that this, like biscuits and like rolled dumplings and things like that, they really are just as simple as, you know, taking a shortcut way of doing things. And certainly they taste better. So, I mean, I'm not knocking Jell-O pudding. I think that's great. And if that works for you, then that's fabulous too. But, you know, like so many things, it's kind of good to get back to the old way of doing things because, you know, whenever you work hard, Tanner has it in her hair. It's so good. But y'all, anyway, the recipe will be up. As always, we want to see pictures if you make this. Let us know if you have any questions. You know, we'll do our best to try to figure out. Stephanie, I'll get with you later, but I honestly think if you let that custard cool just a little bit more, or maybe don't cut your bananas too soon to put in there, because when they're exposed to oxygen, they'll brown a little quicker too. So it may be the two things combined that maybe kind of browning them a little too much. But anyway, I'll get with you about that. If y'all have any questions whatsoever, feel free to direct message me. I'll try to get back with you just as soon as I can. We've had a really, really good weekend. Danny and I just got back from Mardi Gras in Mobile. We had a wonderful time, and it's back to reality tomorrow. We got to go back to work. So anyway, we hope that you've all enjoyed this special Tuesday edition of Messy Kitchen Monday. And this will lead into March for us, where we talk about and cook for you Southern classic recipes. And tonight we've made a Southern classic, and we intend to carry that throughout March, and we're really excited about all that we have set up for you in March. So let us know if you like the new time at 7:30 or if you prefer 8. I think both work really well, so we'd like to get some feedback from you on that too. Have any questions, send us a message. And from the buttered home to your home, we love you. Thank you. Bye.